Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel Home Library Book Review. Hope you guys are doing great, and today we are here to review another book, Atomic Habits by James Clear. This book is a guide for you to change all the bad habits and introduce new ones. It has sold over 1 million copies. Before we start, don't forget to hit the subscribe button with the bell notification so that you're the first one to get our videos. And if you like the video, don't forget to give the thumbs up. So let's get started right away.
Welcome to Home Library Book Review, where we select a book right from the shelf and explain its learning through easy to understand text, graphics, examples, and animation, along with discussion with family members. You can now order your book review video on www.home-library.com.
Today, we're gonna be reviewing Atomic Habits by James Clear.
This book has sold over 1 million copies worldwide. This book comes with the ideology that small changes will have a transformative effect on your career, your relationship, and your life. This book is also a guide. You need to break bad routines and make good ones. This is part 4 of 4, and this book has Goodreads rating of 4 out of 5.
James Clear is a personal development keynote speaker and New York Times best-selling author of Atomic Habits. His entertaining talks teach audiences about small habits, decision-making, and continuous improvement. He's a regular speaker at Fortune 500 companies, and his work has been used by teams in the NFL, NBA, and MLB. Through his online course, The Habits Academy, Clear has taught more than 10,000 leaders, managers, coaches, and teachers how to improve. But before we begin, Arnav, can you tell me what are habits?
Dad, I think habit is a practice.
It can also be customs that we are used to by doing them over and over again. It could also be pattern that we form by doing repetitive tasks. It could also be routine that we are familiar with and want to do it over and over again. Or it could also be a manner in which we practice our thoughts. You know, there is a saying, if you take control of your habits, you take control of your life. I can't wait to review this book. How about you, Arnav?
Dad, let's begin.
Number 1. How to stick with good habits every day. A simple way to measure whether you did a habit is by creating a habit tracker. The most basic format is to get a calendar and cross off each day you stick with your routine. For example, if you meditate on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, each of these dates gets an X. As time rolls by, the calendar becomes a record of your habit streak. Countless people have tracked their habits, but perhaps the most famous was Benjamin Franklin. Beginning at age 20, Franklin carried a small booklet everywhere he went and used it to track 13 personal virtues. This list included goals like lose no time, be always employed in something useful, and avoid trifling conversation. At the end of each day, Franklin would open this booklet and record his progress. Jerry Seinfeld reportedly uses a habit tracker to stick with his streak of writing jokes. In the documentary Comedian, he explains that his goal is simply to never break the chain of writing jokes every day. In other words, he is not focused on how good or bad a particular joke is or how inspired he feels. He is simply focused on showing up and adding to his streak. Now, don't break the chain is a powerful mantra. Don't break the chain of sales calls and you will build a successful book of business. Don't break the chain of workouts and you will get fit faster than you would expect. Don't break the chain of creating every day and you will end up with an impressive portfolio. Habit tracking is powerful because it leverages multiple laws of behavior change. It simultaneously makes a behavior obvious, attractive, and satisfying. Habit tracking also keeps you honest. Most of us have a distorted view of our own behavior. We think we act better than we do. Measurements offers one way to overcome our blindness to our own behavior and notice what's really going on each day. One glance at the paper clips in the container and you immediately know how much work you have or haven't been putting in. When the evidence is right in front of you, you are less likely to lie to yourself. The most effective form of motivation is progress. When we get a signal that we are moving forward, we become more motivated to continue down the path. In this way, habit tracking can have an addictive effect on motivation. Each small win feeds your desire. Habit tracking also helps keep your eye on the ball. You're focused on the process rather than the result. You're not fixated on getting 6 abs. You're just trying to keep the streak alive and become the type of person who doesn't miss workouts. Number 2, how an accountability partner can change everything. Just as we are more likely to repeat an experience when the ending is satisfying, we are also more likely to avoid an experience when the ending is painful. Pain is an effective teacher. If a failure is painful, it gets fixed. If a failure is relatively painless, it gets ignored. The more immediate and more costly a mistake is, the faster you will learn from it. For example, the threat of a bad review forces a plumber to be good at his job. The possibility of a customer never returning makes restaurants create good food. The cost of cutting the wrong blood vessel makes a surgeon master human anatomy and cut carefully. When the consequences are severe, people learn quickly. The more immediate the pain, the less likely the behavior. If you want to prevent bad habits and eliminate unhealthy behaviors, then adding an instant cost to the action is a great way to reduce their odds. You see, as soon as actions incur an immediate consequence, behavior begins to change. Now, customers pay their bills on time when they are charged a late fee. Students show up to class when their grade is linked in attendance. We will jump through a lot of hoops to avoid a little bit of immediate pain. There is, of course, a limit to this. If you're going to rely only on punishment to change behavior, then the strength of the punishment must match the relative strength of the behavior it is trying to correct. To be productive, the cost of procrastination must be greater than the cost of action. For example, to be healthy, the cost of laziness must be greater than the cost of exercise. Getting fined for smoking in a restaurant or failing to recycle adds consequences to an action. Behavior only shifts if the punishment is painful enough and reliably enforced. In general, the more logical, tangible, concrete, and immediate the consequence, the more likely it is to influence individual behavior. The more global, intangible, vague, and delayed the consequence, the less likely it is to influence individual behavior. In this way, we can create an accountability partner that can put a cost to inaction. We care deeply about what others think of us, and we do not want others to have a lesser opinion of us. A habit contract can be used to add a social cost to any behavior. It makes the cost of violating your promises public and painful. Knowing that someone else is watching you can be a powerful motivator. Number 3, the truth about talent. The secret to maximizing your odds of success is to choose the right field of competition. This is just as true with habit change as it is with any sports or business. Habits are easier to perform and more satisfying to stick with when they align with your natural inclinations and abilities. Embracing this strategy requires the acceptance of the simple truth that people are born with different abilities. Some people don't like to discuss this fact. On the surface, your genes seems to be fixed, and it's no fun to talk about things you cannot control. The people at the top of any competitive field are not only well trained, they're also well suited to the task. And this is why, if you want to be truly great, selecting the right place to focus is crucial. The key is to direct your effort toward areas that both excite you and match your natural skills to align your ambition with your ability. Our habits are not solely determined by our personalities, but there is no doubt that our genes nudge us in a certain direction. The key is to pick up habits that we can perform easily. Now, people can get ripped working out like a bodybuilder, but if you prefer rock climbing or cycling or rowing, then shape your exercise habit around your interests. There is a version of every habit that can bring you joy and satisfaction. Find it. Habits need to be enjoyable if they are going to stick. Therefore, the secret to maximizing your odds of success is to choose the right field of competition. Pick the right habit and progress is key. Pick the wrong habit and life is a struggle. Genes cannot be easily changed, which means they provide a powerful advantage in favorable circumstances and a serious disadvantage in unfavorable circumstances. Habits are easier when they align with your natural abilities. Choose the habits that best suit you. Play a game that favors your strengths. If you can't find a game that favors you, create one. Genes do not eliminate the need for hard work, they clarify it. They tell us what to work hard on. Number 4, the Goldilocks Rule: how to stay motivated in life and work. The human brain loves a challenge, but only if it is within an optimal zone of difficulty. If you love tennis and try to play a serious match against a 4-year-old, you will quickly become bored. It's too easy. You will win every point. In contrast, if you play a professional tennis player like Roger Federer or Serena Williams, you will quickly lose motivation because the match is too difficult. Now consider playing tennis against someone who is your equal. As the game progresses, you win a few points and you lose a few. You have a good chance of winning, but only if you really try. Your focus narrows, distractions fade away, and you find yourself fully invested in the task at hand. Now, this is a challenge of just manageable difficulty, and it is a prime example of the Goldilocks Rule. The Goldilocks Rule states that humans experience peak motivation when working on tasks that are right on the edge of their current abilities. Not too hard, not too easy, just right. Now, to stay motivated, you need to be in the zone and fully immersed in an activity. Scientists have tried to quantify this feeling. They found that to achieve a state of flow, a task must be roughly 4% beyond your current ability. In real life, it's typically not feasible to quantify the difficulty of an action in this way, but the core idea of the Goldilocks Rule remain. Working on challenges of just manageable difficulty. Something on the perimeter of your ability seems crucial for maintaining motivation. Improvement requires a delicate balance. You need to regularly search for challenges that push you to your edge while continuing to make enough progress to stay motivated. Behaviors need to remain novel in order for them to stay attractive and satisfying. Without variety, we get bored. And boredom is perhaps the greatest villain on the quest for self-improvement. As habits become routine, they become less interesting and less satisfying. We get bored. Anyone can work hard when they feel motivated. It's the ability to keep going when work isn't exciting that makes the difference. Professionals stick to the schedule, amateurs let life get in the way. The only way to become excellent is to be endlessly fascinated by doing the same thing over and over again. You have to fall in love with boredom to stay motivated in life and work. Number 5, the downside of creating good habits. Habits create the foundation for mastery. In chess, it is only after the basic movements of the pieces have become automatic that a player can focus on the next level of the game. Each chunk of information that is memorized opens up the mental space for more effortful thinking. This is true for any endeavor. When you know the simple movements so well that you can perform them without thinking, you're free to pay attention to more advanced details. In this way, habits are the backbone of any pursuit of excellence. However, the benefits of habits come at a cost. At first, each repetition develops fluency, speed, and skill. But then, as a habit becomes automatic, you become less sensitive to feedback. You fall into mindless repetition. It becomes easier to let mistakes slide. When you can do it good enough on autopilot, you stop thinking about how to do it better. The upside of habits is that we can do things without thinking. The downside of habits is that you can get used to doing things a certain way and stop paying attention to little errors. You assume you're getting better because you're gaining experience, but in reality, you're merely reinforcing your current habits and not improving on them. In fact, some research has shown that once a skill has been mastered, there is usually a slight decline in performance over time. Usually, this minor dip in performance is no cause for worry. You don't need a system to continuously improve how well you brush your teeth or tie your shoes or make your morning cup of tea. With habits like these, good enough is usually good enough. The less energy you spend on trivial choices, the more you can spend it on what really matters. However, when you want to maximize your potential and achieve elite levels of performance, you need a more nuanced approach. You can't repeat the same things blindly and expect to become exceptional. Habits are necessary but not sufficient for mastery. What you need is a combination of automatic habits and deliberate practice. Reflection and review is a process that allows you to remain conscious of your performance over time. The tighter we cling to an identity, the harder it becomes to grow beyond it. Habits deliver numerous benefits, but the downside is that they can lock us into our previous patterns of thinking and acting, even when the world is shifting around us. Everything is impermanent. Life is constantly changing. So you need to periodically check in to see if your old habits and beliefs are still serving you. A lack of self-awareness is poison. Reflection and review is the antidote. Let's summarize what we have learned so far. Number 1, how to stick with good habits every day. Number 2, how an accountability partner can change everything. Number 3, the truth about talent. Number 4, the Goldilocks Rule, how to stay motivated in life and work. And finally, number 5, the downside of creating good.
Thank you for watching our video. Please like, subscribe and put comments. Your comments will help us to know what you would like us to work on. And also don't forget to click on the bell notification button so that you are the first one to get more videos like this. Until next time, take care and bye.